and welcome to our first video aimed towards kids. So we're gonna do a series of videos aimed towards kids. This is actually Kylie's idea. So I'm Jada, this is Kylie, and we're gonna be here to talk to you guys about some of the things kids can do to make themselves safer. Now we recommend that kids have their parents watching with them. They don't have to, but sometimes it can help if they don't quite understand something I say, because I'm not perfect. I may say something they don't quite get. So if there's something that they don't quite understand, it's a whole lot better for them to have their parents with them, just because they can do a little bit more explaining than I can. In this first video, we're gonna be talking about strangers. So what is a stranger? Anybody want to take a guess? So real quick, think about that. What is a stranger? But Miss Kylie, what is a stranger?
A stranger is a person that you do not know.
All right, so now we're always taught about stranger danger, right? If you see someone you don't know, you stay away from them. Well, that's pretty good, but are there good strangers and bad strangers? Yeah, so some strangers are good, some strangers are bad. So we're gonna talk about the difference between the two. So the difference between a good stranger and a bad stranger. Let's go ahead and define a bad stranger. Defining is when you say what something means. A bad stranger is any person that you don't know that does something that makes you feel uncomfortable, unsafe, or tries to get you to do something that your parents wouldn't want you to do. A good stranger is a stranger that's helpful. Let's go through a few different examples, and I want you to listen really carefully and see if you can answer whether the stranger I'm describing would be a good stranger or a bad stranger. Let's try. Let's say that you were riding a bike. Even if you can't ride a bike, let's pretend you can. So let's say you're riding your bike and you hit a rock and your bike falls over and your arm starts to really hurt, you've got some blood, it's really scary. So your parents call the number 911 and they send you an ambulance. Would the people inside the ambulance that are bandaging your arm be good strangers or bad strangers? Miss Kylie?
Good strangers.
Because those strangers are helpful. You're in the park and your parent decided to go to the bathroom and leave you on the play set. A stranger you don't know comes up and says that they lost their dog and they want you to help them go find it. So a stranger is asking you to go with them. So someone you don't know is asking you to go with them to help them find their dog. Would this be a good stranger or a bad stranger? Let's ask a couple of other questions before we answer this. This is someone you don't know, a grown person, that's asking a kid to go with them and help them find something. Do your parents ever want you to go with a stranger? Probably not. So this stranger is asking you to do something your parents wouldn't want you to do. So let's say that you say, no, I'm gonna stay right here and wait for my mom. And the stranger keeps going. They keep trying to get you to go with them and help them find their dog. Please help me, I lost my dog. Miss Kylie, would this be a good stranger or a bad stranger?
That would be a bad stranger.
Why?
Because they're making you feel really uncomfortable and they're asking you to do something that your parents don't really want you to do.
They may have said they want you to help them find their lost dog, but they're asking you to go with them and you don't know them. You never ever go with anyone you don't know. Let's try another scenario. So after you fell off your bike and then the people from the ambulance helped you to feel better, helped your arm to feel better, you come outside and you realize that someone took your bike. So your parents call the police because the police are going to help you find your bike. Would the policeman your parents called be a good stranger or a bad stranger? Miss Kylie?
A good stranger.
Why?
Because they're there to help you find your bike.
So they are helpful strangers. So far, we have the EMS, so the people in the ambulance, they are good strangers. The man trying to get you to go with him is a bad stranger, and the policemen are good strangers. Now there are several other kinds of good strangers. So there is this number that you call whenever you need them to send you a good stranger to help you. That number is 911. So if you call 911 for an emergency, you can tell them what your emergency is and they'll send you a good stranger to help you figure it out. So when you fell off your bike and hurt your arm and were bleeding, that was an emergency. So you called 911 and they sent you the ambulance full of people you don't know, but they were good strangers because they were there to help you. Then the next one was the police. So the police, if you call 911 and you have an emergency, like someone stole your bike, then they'll send you a police officer, a good stranger, to help you find it. Let's do one more. Let's say that you decided you wanted to surprise your mom or dad with breakfast in bed. So you wanted to get up early and make them breakfast and bring it to them before they woke up. But you have a problem. When you were making the toaster started to spark, and then you saw a little flame like a lighter, and then something started to catch on fire and you started to smell smoke. So you call 911, the place you call for an emergency, and they'll send you some good strangers to help. What stranger would they send to help you with a fire?
A firefighter.
A firefighter. So is a firefighter a good stranger or a bad stranger?
Good stranger.
Why?
Because they're there to help you.
So there are a lot of examples of good strangers. There are also a lot of examples of bad strangers. Your job is to figure out whether a stranger is helpful or if they make you feel uncomfortable. I want to encourage you to go ahead and keep talking to your parents and ask them to give you situations where they describe either a good stranger or a bad stranger. And that way you can practice, and it can be a lot of fun because you're spending time with your mom and dad. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.